Hello everybody and welcome to Unpaved Expeditions. Today we're going to go over the one-time pad. What is a one-time pad? It's an encryption technique in which you use numbers to represent letters. And we are going to further encrypt it today with what's called a keypad. Now the intent of this is to encrypt a message that you don't want somebody else to see. It can be a series of letters or numbers put into a classified section in the newspaper. It can be sent an email, broadcasted over radio. It can be sent in text messages. It doesn't matter because what you're going to send is a series of numbers. You and the other person have to have an exact copy of the key and of the checkerboard. Now, when you use the key in real life, in a real life situation, once the pad is used or the key is used to send the message, you disperse of the keypad. Okay, you get rid of it. Whenever you decipher the code, you throw the keypad away. That's how it stays 100% uncrackable. There's no way to crack this code unless somebody has the key. If only you and the opposing person have this key and you throw it away when it's done, and I'm not talking about throw it away, you burn it, you eat it, you completely destroy this paper, then it is 100% uncrackable. And let's go over how to do it. So today we're going to use the phrase, hey. You go over here to your checkerboard. H is 75. E is 2. And Y is 88. Okay? Now make sure you spread your letters out. That way you have room to work. Okay? So now we're going to go here to our keypad. And just to make it simple today, we're going to use the very top row. Disregard the first column of numbers, and I'll tell you why here in just a moment. So we're going to go over here to 73, 73, 1, 2, 5, 2, 5. Everybody see that? 7, 3, 1, 2, 5. 1, 2, 5. Now remember, this is the most important part. To send the message, you subtract it. When you receive the message, you add it. Okay? So let's remember to write that down, put it in your memory to remember. When you send it, you subtract it. When you receive it, you add the key. Okay? So here we're sending this message to somebody. So we're going to send it, which means we need to subtract the numbers. Okay? Okay, so here we subtracted the numbers. Now, this is now our code. Right there. When you send this to somebody, you're going to want to use the first 5 numbers of the column. For instance, we would do 6. Leave this where you can see it here. 6, 5, 4, 2, 7. Then you would state the text 0, 2, 1, 6. Does that make sense? That whole series of numbers says, hey. Okay? To decipher this code, let's say you receive a text message and it has this series of numbers in it, and that's it. You would go to your keypads. Okay? All the keypads. And these are on my website. They're free to download along with the checkerboard. So you can practice and make up your own codes later. But what we'd do is we would divide this out almost as if you were mapping or plotting a coordinates on a map. You would come in and you would section it out. So we know that the first 5 are always going to be what tells us the column to use, right? So like right here is 65427, 65427. Right there it is. So we know that that one is the beginning of our code. So 0216. There's our code. We'll just go right under it, and we're going to repeat the steps that we used to send it. But this is how we're going to decipher it. So we'd go right here and start with 73125. So 7312. That's where we messed up. I forgot a number. 5. And that's something else. I'm not even going to edit that out. I want you to also remember it is super, super important to double check your math when doing this. So double check your subtraction and double check your adding, because that makes a whole world of difference when you send this stuff. So here we'll just add the numbers. So 7 and 7 is 7, or 7 and 0 is 7. 3 and 2 is 5. There's 2, 8, 8. Now we'll go to our checkerboard and we're going to look for these numbers. So if you notice in the checkerboard, there is no 7. So now we'll add the next one to it, which would be 75, and we have that. The next one is 2. And we can mark these off as we go. 8, again, there is no 8. But there is an 88. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so while I was trying to video the next section, I confused myself and messed up twice. So let's do it again. Whenever you use the code, the keypad, the only time that you use or that you skip the first column is when you're using it to identify which section of the keypad that you're starting with. Remember when we done hey back here on the back, we didn't start with 65427 in our cipher. We used it and left it decrypted so that whenever you received this message, you would see 65427 in plain text and would know that this is where the key starts at. The next column would be 73125. You would follow through all the way to the end where it's 38631, and you would then follow straight down to the next row starting at the very beginning, 22548, and to continue the cipher or the key if you were trying to decipher. Again, the only time you skip the first row is to identify in the message what section of the key you're using. So here we'll say hello. John. Let's go to our key or to our checker, and we'll write down 75 because that's what's the letter being signified by the number 75. E is 2. L is 78. I'll tell you what, see how this is already cluttering up right here? it's hard to keep that organized. So we're going to do it like this. I'll tell you what, let's do it even better than that. We'll start here. Okay. So H is 75. E is 2. Follow along with me. L, 78. L is 78 again. And O is 5. We'll go down here and even write John. So I've done it again to you. I like using the squares to help organize like this. That's another way that I like doing it. Follow along here with me. Let's find J, 76. O is 5 again. H, 75. And N is 4. We'll just mark that out that way everybody stays on track here. Can everybody see that? So now our code looks something like that, even though I almost cluttered it back up again. Now let's use the keypad. Here, let's use 42452. We're going to use that section. Remember, skip the first. We're going to start with the next column over, be 9, 7, 6, 6, 8, 7, 0, 3, 8, 9, 6, 7, 3, 2. If we had kept going, we would have went 2 for the next one and came down and used 2 again, 8, 5, 4, 6, and completed this row. And if we ran out, we would just continue to fall down. Okay? Does that make, I hope that makes sense to everybody. Now, something else that I want you to remember, whenever you start having numbers that, remember, we're subtracting here. Here is subtracting. Because we're sending the code, right? So let's use this one right here, 9 and 7. Okay? That's going to be 8. Right? Everybody understand that? 7 can't go into 5, but it can go into 15. You just add your tally up there as if it's a 15. You know, you make it acceptable for it to go into it. So then you would just add 7 into 15. And that would be 8 also. Now, let's go ahead and I'm going to skip over and I want to do this and I'm going to come right back. So here would be my code that I would send, right? Right here. This last section, if I can get it circled for you. That would be my encrypted message that I would send. But I would add 42452 at the beginning here. That way, whoever is receiving the message can decipher it. Everybody understand that? All right, so to decipher it, obviously I would see that the message started with 42452. I would know this was the code, this is the key, follow it to the next one, and 97668, so on and so forth. And here we would use the key that we used here. We're going to use it again, but instead of subtracting it, we're going to add it, because we're receiving the message. Remember, subtract to send, add to receive. Now, here's where some people get mixed up. So we're going to add 8 into 9, or 9 into 8, right? Well, instead of having somewhere to lay the numbers down on the left, right? So it's actually 17, but we just put the 7. We leave the 1 off, right? 8 into 7 is 15. We just put the 5 down there, leave the 1 off. 6 and 6 is 12. Just put the 2 down there, leave the 1 off. Hope that makes sense to everybody. And now there's our second answer. Or I'm sorry, this is the actual answer. This is going back to our initial code that we used right here. We just swapped the letters over. So we would go in here and look for the 75, because remember, there isn't a 7, but there is a 75, and we would just follow along. $76 right here, right? There isn't a 7, but there's a 76. So J, there's a O. The L's are 78. So I'm sorry, not the L's. We're going 75. H. Right there, because remember, there isn't a 7, but there is a 75, and 4 is in. Hello, John. Okay, guys, I hope everybody understands that. Go to my website, use these codes, or the keypads and the checkerboard. I have that free on my website in a PDF. Download it, copy it off, go to my website. I believe I put it, I'm going to try to release one every Sunday by noon. And then we will put an answer up by Friday. When I can get 3 winners, I will be sending out prizes to each of the winners for participating and achieving an accomplishment. Because this is a little tricky. It takes some studying and getting used to, and everybody has to have the same keypad and the same checkerboard in order for this to work. So if you use this in your group, just make sure that the opposing person that is receiving the message has the same information you have to go by. Okay? Hope everybody understands it. If you don't, reach out in the comments or find me on Instagram under Unpaved Expeditions and reach out to me there, and I'll do my best to get everybody on board with this. But remember, website, every Sunday will be the code. Every Friday will be the answer. Good luck, guys.